Magen David Adom. On behalf of American Friends, I'd like to thank Ben and Maddie for the most generous gift of Magen David Adom ambulance, which you saw outside. We'll say a few things about the ambulance and about Magen David Adom. But before we start, I would just like to make this presentation to Ben and Maddie. This is a replica, a model. You want to join us?
Yes.
Ben, Maddie.
Come on, Ben.
This is a model of the vehicle outside, a 1:60th scale. It took us almost 2 years to get permission from General Motors to reproduce the exact model. Only condition we have is to give it out on these type of occasions, and so we were able to do it. And it's a beautiful 1:60 scale. And every time you look at this ambulance, just keep in mind that each day, every minute of the day, Magen David Adom gets a call on saving lives. So your vehicle outside will save a lot of lives each day. And as I was telling Ben, there are many occasions when babies are born in the ambulance, and you will get that notice as well from Israel. So this is for you.
Now, the gentleman in the middle. Gary, look closer. Go this way a little bit. Thank you. No. Swing around like that. That's it. Thank you, everybody. And a one. Hold it. Again. And one more.
Musical spots.
2. Got it.
Okay.
That's just lovely.
So enjoy. So I think everybody here pretty much knows what Magen David Adom does. If you've been to Israel, chances are you've seen or at least heard of at least one of these ambulances. Magen David Adom is in charge of many things. It's equivalent, many say, to the Red Cross here. Yes and no. We do what the Red Cross does, but Magen David Adom does a lot more, because Magen David Adom are the first responders for all medical emergencies in the state of Israel. This vehicle, we have about 600 of these vehicles in Israel. They're on call 24/7. They serve all of Israel's people all over the country. There's another type of vehicle we have, which is a cardiac care unit, which is a yellow vehicle, and that is if we find out if somebody has a heart attack or a stroke, we send that vehicle. That vehicle will have a physician on it. We have about 200 of those. So altogether we have 800 vehicles. Magen David Adom is involved with the National Blood Services of the State of Israel. So you should know that any hospital, whether it's Shaarei Tzedek in Jerusalem, or Hadassah in Jerusalem, or Rambam in Haifa, any hospital receives its blood from Magen David Adom. We have about, I think about 16 or 17 bloodmobile units traveling throughout the country. The bloodmobile unit collects the blood from all of Israel's people. Magen David Adom's National Blood Services Center services the blood. That is, it diffractionates it, it makes sure it's free of any diseases, and stores the blood. And then when needed by hospitals, Magen David Adom ships the blood to all the hospitals in Israel. We supply the blood for 100% of the IDF. Little known fact. So anytime there's an emergency, there is one number that everyone calls. You remember the number? It was in the ambulance.
101.
Very good. She passed the card. Actually, it's the most widely used number in Israel. And if you ask any child, a 6-year-old child, a 7-year-old child, what's Mada's number, they will know. Achat, Efes Achat. Every child knows that number. And they'll call it even if they have to call the police. The police have a separate number, 100. And the firemen have another number, 102. But the number everybody knows is 101 because it's stamped on every one of the ambulances. So then we'll, of course, forward the calls to the police and the firemen if we have to. We have over 112 emergency medical stations throughout Israel. The biggest ones, of course, is in Jerusalem. When you travel up, the next time anybody visits Jerusalem, when you go on the main road, Highway 1, you'll see a beautiful big building. It's named for the mayor of New York City, for his father, and it is our largest medical emergency station for MDA. Another large one is in Haifa, the third largest one is in Tel Aviv, and the fourth largest one is in Beersheba. But we have over 120 emergency medical stations in every city and town throughout Israel. Somebody wants to give blood, they can walk into any one of those emergency stations as well. So in addition to the emergency medical stations, we do a lot of training. Any first responder in Israel gets trained by Magen David Adom, first medical responder. Many of our volunteers, we have 15,000 volunteers, and we have 1,200 staff. We could not do our work without the volunteers. We're mandated by the Knesset, 1950, but we're not funded from the government, which is, people are surprised. There is no government funding to Magen David Adom whatsoever. There are some reimbursements for ambulance rides by insurance, and the blood, there's a minor fee when blood is sent to the hospitals. Blood donations are given by donors. But otherwise, all the ambulances you see in Israel are donated by friends, not just from the United States, but from England and from France and from South Africa, from Australia, mostly though from the United States. Some of the urgent needs that are facing MDA right now, you all probably heard a number of months ago, there was some Saudi Arabia hacker that hacked into the computer system in some of the banks in Israel, and about 100,000 Israelis had their finances all turned upside down because of some hacker. Well, just imagine if that happened to the National Blood Services, where you turn an AB positive blood type to a minus AB. So we have a very high advanced technology to protect the nation's blood supply. It's a closed system. American Friends initially spent about $7 million on that system about 10 years ago. Today, we spend about $2.5 million a year to constantly upgrade that system. And it serves the national blood supply. It makes sure that the blood supply computerization system is a closed system and it cannot be hacked into. As I said, we train not only the first responders, but we go to a lot of schools, and we have training programs for thousands of kids in first aid. We take kids who are juniors and seniors in high school, and they could spend a day every day of the week, 1 day a week, being trained in first aid and emergency service. And many of our volunteers are from the high school kids that eventually, when they go to college or when they finish the Army, continue volunteering for us. So in a nutshell, that's what we do. The ambulances that the Lavin family has donated will be shipped to Israel. It will take about 2 months to be shipped by freighter, and then it will be commissioned by MADA, and Maddie and Ben will get a very nice letter from MDA itself saying your ambulance is now part of the fleet. There'll be a number of, actually this is pretty handy. This is only the second one we're giving out, by the way. We just got permission to do this. So it's actually pretty handy. There'll be a number put on there. For example, let's say it's going to be placed in the Negev, in Beersheba, or Sderot, or one of the, so it'll say Negev, and then it'll be a number, and that'll be the ID number. And when MDA sends Maddie and Ben the acknowledgement letter, it'll have the vehicle identification number on it. It'll have the ID number of the vehicle, and it'll be incorporated in the fleet. After which, every 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, you should always call me to remind me, you will be getting an update. We get updates from Israel. Everything is computerized. So one of these vehicles on the average has about 1,500 runs a year. It gets 1,000, about, some a little more, some a little less, but it's about 1,500 emergency calls a year. That's 1,500 lives it saves a year. It could be from accidents. It could be from industry accidents, obviously car accidents. It could be almost anything. And then from time to time, if you're lucky, you're going to get a letter saying that Mazel Tov, an ambulance has been born, a baby has been born in your ambulance. And especially if the ambulance is placed in the outlying regions. Because if you're in areas that are in the outlying regions, that's more than 30 minutes away from a hospital, all the paramedics are trained to deliver. A friend of mine who's a doctor in, actually on the South Nassau Hospital, his name is Dr. Stark, his son lives in Beitar Elite, and was the second child his daughter-in-law was delivering, never made it. They had to stop in an Arab village, and the baby was born in the ambulance, and the father, who I knew as he was a little boy, was scared stiff. He goes, "Oh my God, what are we going to do?" So the paramedic said in Hebrew, how do you say "don't worry" in Hebrew?
Al Tidar.
Al Tidar. The ambulance that they happened to have been on had delivered 60 babies in the vehicle. So they're quite able to handle this and work with this. So on behalf of American Friends, Mazel Tov, thank you very much, and God bless you.